point. This is why you need to watch such interviews. I learned something from you. You learned something from me. So This is the point.
So we did the tests for the empathy. And it's a little different because you're Russian, but it's very interesting still. And it's the first time that I've used video because I wanted to see if we could see a difference in people from the videos in the way they see they empathize with the animals. Mm-hmm. Then we did the empathy questions, the creativity questions, those. Then we talked about your products. We talked about keeping Beardy's healthy. We talked about U.S. Art Florida and the bullshit that's happening down there. And we talked about rescues. We went over a lot of things here that I think are massively important for Beardy moms. Mm-hmm. And for anybody out there that thinks Beardy moms, something's wrong with them because they put a hat on a lizard, mm-hmm. Well, then one, you have problems with Adam Wickens from Wickens Reptiles because he put a hat on a Beardy, so he's the Beardy mom. Mm-hmm. I don't even put hats on Beardies, and I'm a Beardy mom, and I'm damn proud of it. Are you proud to be a Beardy mom?
I am. I do am.
Hello, everybody. I'm Daniel Yates, and this is Val. I'm glad you shortened it because I'm so bad. But I will leave in the description your actual Etsy and anything you want to send me to put in the description for you. Go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I want to let everybody know how amazing Val has been to me because honestly, I've had people that tell me they're going to come on, that they'd be happy to do an interview, and then just like ghost me. Mm-hmm. Because I had one other person responded, and they were like, this is interesting, but we're really busy, and I've tried to email them back to have them on, and I haven't heard back from them either. Mm-hmm. And so you are great to work with, and I want everybody to understand that.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So this is a Beardy Mom episode. So as we can clearly see, you're a Beardy mom. Right there, yeah. Oh, my God. I love it. I wanted I'm a Beardy mom. Can you see this picture?
Yeah. I saw them. I saw them before. They are really
cute. But for people at home, I'm a Beardy mom. This cost me like $20. Calm Fancy's my big boy in the basket. He's actually about 500 grams, which is pretty big for a Beardy.
Yeah. Percy is 600 grams.
Oh, wow.
Percy's really big guy, yeah.
Yeah. Calm Fancy would be 600 grams if I let him get obese. Like he would. Like it would be so easy, but I keep him there. Pitch is the one on the top. Mm-hmm. This is Pitch the bitch. That's her name. And the one in my back is Hydra. He's the one that at 4-month-old couldn't lift himself up. And I rehabbed him back to health. And that's actually his safety spot. And now we have a celebrity that we know, well, at least I know of, that actually is a Beardy mom. Adam Wickens is a Beardy mom. Look at this thumbnail right here. He's got a bearded dragon with a hat on. That's actually Diamond with a hat. So he's a Beardy mom as well. And a lot of people use Beardy mom as almost a derogatory in this deal, in our industry. And so Bill Stewart, I had him on earlier. He was like, okay, so I want to know the empathy of people who put clothes on animals. I want to see that. And it's like, so that's what where this episode led to. And I just want to appreciate you and your husband for coming on, or for being Beardy Moms and being so super awesome. This is I had a dragon pass away and I made a mold of him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a business card holder and stuff. So why don't you introduce yourself, since we've got the premise?
My name is Valerie, and this is Casper. Casper is the latest guy we have adopted. I'd say not adopted, but saved, because we bought him from people who were cruel to him. And he doesn't look perfectly to someone, but for me, he's a perfect little guy. He had a lot of traumas when we got him. He had mouth rot and burns and broken fingers, and he had his tail is not full. He had a tail rot and a lot of other stuff. So now he is as healthy as he can be. He is really fun guy with a extremely fast speed, and he likes being with human. He is enjoying his snuggle time with human. And we also had some more dragons we saved and found them a good home.
So what is your website? How do you go by?
The website, what do you mean by where I find the dragons, or?
No, where I found you because you actually sell products.
Yes. I sell products on Etsy. I have an Etsy shop which sells harnesses for bearded dragons. So we have.
Yeah, we'll go over that a little bit more later.
And also we have Instagram. The major, I'd say, what I do is Instagram with all the videos, with answering all the questions. We have 3,700 followers. And every day I get a lot of questions about people just got dragon or saved dragons, or people who have some questions like, oh, excuse me, my dragon doesn't feel very well. Oh, excuse me, my dragon doesn't eat. What should I do? Or please help me, my dragon is brumating, but he's only 5 months. What should I do? And all other questions I'm trying to answer and help people.
Great. Where are you from exactly?
I'm originally from Russia, and my husband.
That's actually what I thought.
Yeah, my husband and I moved here only 4 years ago.
Great. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. You're being treated right?
Yeah.
So.
I knew nothing about reptiles 4 years ago, but when we moved to USA, I realized that it will be cruel to have a cat. I'm a cat person, for my husband who is allergic to cats. And I wanted to find that some animal, but not a bald cat, not a sphinx, some animal that will be as fun as cat, but without fur. And we found that bearded dragons are just like this. And all our 3 dragons, Percy, Lori, and Casper, they are like cat or dog. They are funny. They are running all around the room. I mean, I let them to run like 2 hours a day, but when they do, it's always so fun.
Oh, I love your videos. They're just like, wow. They're having fun.
Yeah. So all these guys had such an unfortunate life before we got them, and all of them now are spoiled, happy, and.
So why don't we get started? Mm-hmm. And I have questions that I use to compare you to other people in a study. And so just tell us a story. The only rule is that whatever you want to say, just be detailed as you can.
What kind of story do you want to hear?
It is your story. Yeah, people don't realize how much delay there is with people thinking about their stories and stuff here.
I'd be happy to tell, for example, Casper's story.
Go for it.
Okay. We got Casper 1 year ago in February. When I saw him on Craigslist, I was shocked because the white dragon, like Casper is, Zero, they are very expensive. And usually they are sold, the babies and the grown-up dragons, for $300, $500, $700. So a lot of white dragons come not from breeders, they come from breeding mills. So people take dragons and put them in one room so they can multiply without normal lamps, without normal food. They are fighting all the time. This is dragon breeding mills. This is horrible. All the dragons who come from these guys don't have nips of tails, some fingers, have a lot of bites, but the guys just don't care. And when I saw Casper, I realized that these guys are moving and they're selling all the dragons. I always dreamt to have a white dragon, but I never wanted to pay the whole sum for him, just because there are so many dragons who need to be saved. Why should I pay for a good dragon from perfect conditions if he will be sold? He will be sold. So I started to talk to these guys who had him and realized that these people are horrible. They are just horrible. And it was...
I want a red dragon because I want to name it Hannibal. Red Dragon is a book in a movie, and Hannibal Lecter is a cannibal human. And so I want to name a red dragon Hannibal. So you saved Percy. I noticed this. I thought that was just going to be shed on top of his head, but
no. The Casper, the white dragon. These are burns. Oh, Casper. Come
yeah,
on.
Casper.
Yeah, Casper. Yeah, Percy is orange guy. He looks good. He doesn't have a little piece of tail, just a very little piece. Everything else is okay, and he's happy celebrity.
So now, why don't you tell us the most creative thing that you've ever done?
Creative thing, like
anything you want, because if I tell you what creative means, then we don't get your side of what creative means to you. And it's, once again, these are all hard questions. And usually I cut these out of my videos, these spots where people are, it's the downtime. And so people don't get to see that part. Because I just made a video and I talk about that point, that I have never had anybody on, no matter how awesome they are, who just automatically have answers. Yeah, tell us the most creative thing that you can think of that you've done. Tell us the story behind it.
Creative thing, just a moment. Sit here.
Yeah, I think your screen froze.
I wanted to show a harness with a name, but I don't have them. I have shipped all of them. Oh, I know. You sit here, little guy.
Casper, look at me.
Hey.
Yeah, I've got Calm Fancy, the big dragon that I've got. He actually knows his name, Fancy. And so he'll look when I say Fancy. Pitch is different. When I say Pitch, she might not look, but if I say Pitch the bitch, she looks every time.
Oh my god, that's funny. Casper usually looks at me when I have something like arugula, something.
Oh yeah. Pitch is Pitch is actually quite intelligent. I take him down to the local lake because I live in a shitty apartment, and she actually looks while we're passing the stoplight to go to the lake. You cannot see the lake from the stoplight. She literally looks down the stoplight and goes, as we passed it, and then like looks back at me like, where are we going? She's actually super intelligent, but it kind of makes her into kind of a bitch.
And where do you live? What state?
I'm in Missouri.
Missouri.
I'm in St. Louis. Yeah.
I see.
So what's the most creative thing, and what's the story behind it?
I guess the most creative thing I did with my husband was Beardy cookie cutters. When we moved to USA, I realized that November and December are 2 months when everyone bakes cookies. And after we had our dragons, I was trying to find any cookie cutters dragon-shaped, but there was none of them. And I realized that so many people have dragons. They want to have breaded dragons. Lots of people, when they try to Google about bearded dragons, they type bearded, and sometimes they are mistaken, or Google changes it, and instead of bearded, it's taped breaded. So now you can have breaded dragons. This one is with a pumpkin, with a Christmas tree, with a heart for the guys who love bearded dragons, the muzzle, and a lot of them. We have 14 types of them, and for different holidays or just for everyday fun. So I guess this is the creative stuff we made.
That's okay. Do you actually make them yourself?
Yeah, I draw them by myself. Then we need to put them into one program, and then my husband draws them. I don't remember how, PNG. So
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
them into PNG, and then he puts this stuff, so it's not soft. So you can have it, and it's normal. Sometimes he does this stuff wrong, and when I try to use cookie cutter, I tell him, no, this doesn't work. Please redraw them so you have this and here to be sturdy. And he redraws them, and then we have them.
That's great. That's really neat. R&D work is really, I think, is fun. It's some of the stuff that I do actually for a living. But I'm a chemist.
A chemist.
Yeah. Now, we're going to go into some empathy questions. Walk me through a day in the life of one of your dragons and tell me what they're feeling.
So you want me to tell dragons feeling during the day?
Yeah, as they go through their day, what are they feeling?
For example, if we talk about Percy, the orange dragon, he's resting now, very close to me, but his terrarium is closed now for Casper not to see him. I guess when Percy gets up, he already feels his loved, his celebrity. Everyone wants some show from him, because his face is usually so proud and so narcissistic. So when I got to the room, he's ready to perform. Sometimes I have some worms as a treat, or some dandelions for him, and he's always ready to have something from me. When I get to the room, he usually stands a little bit to see what are you taking to me? Oh, nothing. And okay, so no performance for you. When Percy has breakfast, if he has breakfast, he doesn't eat every day. I usually let him to walk in the living room. Living room is a neutral territory for all the dragons. Every dragon has their 1 hour and a half to 2 hours to free roam in the living room, and they can also go to the kitchen. So they can climb the sofas, climb the curtains. They have their place near the window, and Percy feels like he's the master of this house.
So how do you think Percy feels when he's walking up the curtains? How do you think that makes him feel?
I think he feels fun, because Percy has a normal stairs that go into his window place. Normal stairs, I made them for him, and he's using them. But maybe every 4th or 5th time, he's like, no, I will not use these stairs. I will use something else. I will dangle on their curtains, or they have egg swing chair, and they can climb there, or if they want to, they can fall from this too. So I guess he feels like he wants fun, and he wants to, I don't know these words, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. I get it. Pitch has that kind of attitude where when I go to her cage, it's, what do you, if like, I just walk by, it's, what do you, are you bringing me something?
Yeah, the same.
Yeah, what's in your hands? Are you bringing me something? If you're not bringing me something, then I don't care. I actually have video of her coming to her name when I had a tong, and then she hears the word no, and she sees the tong, and she actually runs back.
Nothing in tongs, so sorry, I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's literally what it was. Like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. So she just runs back. It's like, yeah, pitch the bitch. Yeah.
And how can we call this like naughty when dragon wants to act naughty? So how can fool around but like spoil something to be bad boy?
Mischievous.
Yeah, mischief. Yeah, some
Loki.
Yeah, I guess this is mischievous like mood. So he's like, I should break something or fell from somewhere or spoil something. So, yeah.
It is. Sometimes it does feel kind of cattish.
Yes.
Like the, oh, well, do you like this? Because I could destroy this.
Yeah.
It does. It does feel kind of cattish that way.
Yeah.
Not as bad as a cat, but it's not.
Yeah, because they don't do like this. Bad. Yeah, but sometimes they're trying to do something close to this.
Yeah. So tell me a time when you saw something in your animals and that made you make a change. Was that change positive or negative? How did that make you feel? And how did that make your animal feel?
When we adopted Casper, I knew that people were cruel to him, but after a couple of weeks we had him, he fell asleep on my husband's hand. We were on the bed around 5 p.m. just talking and having Casper nearby, and suddenly he came to my husband, put his paws on his hand, and put himself on my husband's hand, and just fell asleep, just like this. So this moment, I realized that this reptile, it's not just a stupid, scaly thing. It's something more. He has feelings. He can. He knows he can rely on my husband. He knows my husband or me will do nothing bad to him. But previously, he had something bad in his life. And after that, he started to fall asleep on me or on my husband very, very often. You can take Casper at 5, 6 p.m., put on yourself, and he'll be sleeping. He'll be cuddling with you and sleeping. And when he falls asleep, you can take him and put into his terrarium. He won't even wake up because he trusts you. So this scaly trust is something new we have learned, and I guess we learned it from each other. I never had such bond, and I never knew you can have such bond with a reptile, because their brain is less than cat's brain or dog's brain, but they can feel it. I'm sure they can feel it. And I know that this guy, he feels my love. And
what changes did you make to achieve that? Like, what particular do you think made that possible?
maybe that we started to care about him, and he started to feel better, because he was very, very ill. He had surgery, and he had a lot of medication, painkillers, and other. And he was fed, finally fed. Casper wasn't fed normally all his life. He was anorexic. You could see all his bones. And then he had food. He had a lot of attention to him. He had normal terrarium, normal reptile conditions, and I always talked to him very, very tenderly, because I fell in love with him first minute I got him. And even when you talk to your plants in a very tender way, so even plants start growing better. Why wouldn't Casper, a reptile who hears you, why wouldn't he start falling in love too?
Okay. I want to try something new, something I haven't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just pick a random video here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a different version of the test, and I haven't actually. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. So tell me what Casper is feeling here. I just picked one out of random.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you can see it and it's not just in your head, tell me what he's feeling.
Casper is feeling safe because he has his human near, and he knows this. He's not as dark as he was when he just got outdoors. So I guess he feels safe and curious because there are some birds and planes and everyone and everything else. All these smells new to him, but I guess he feels safe and maybe like some happy kind of curiosity.
Okay. See, this is your Instagram.
Yes.
So people can go to your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Do you know why they get dark like that when they first go into the sun?
When they got stressed, for example, when they are cold, or when...
Not exactly. What it is, okay, so radiation, colors affect... I have a degree in physics.
Mm-hmm.
So understand that this is not me just talking out my butt.
Mm-hmm.
This is so radiation from the sun. This is why when I talked to Ryan McVeigh, we were talking about maybe we don't talk about the sun as heat,
Mm-hmm.
but as radiation, because that's actually what it is. The UVB is important. UVA could be important.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to actually use a grow light, I find. But so taking them into the sun, they get dark
Mm-hmm.
because darker colors actually grab on more to radiation.
Yeah, I know that. But he also gets dark when he's stressed. So the first second he's outside, he's just black. He's jet black because he's stressed outside.
I don't know. My dragons, when you put them in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
they get dark for like an hour or two,
Mm-hmm.
and then they lighten their colors up because they've gotten enough UV.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I throw like a shirt over them, or
Mm-hmm.
let them hide in that stroller.
Casper will never be white as he is in his terrarium.
Yeah.
Even if it's very hot like in terrarium. Even if it's very hot outside, still no, he won't be that white.
How long do you keep them outside when you take them outside?
I don't go there for long, maybe for 20 minutes like this.
Yeah, because I take mine out for hours.
Percy is out for hours. I put a harness on him and he's just running and running and running and running. He has outside zoomies.
Oh, yeah.
So like a dog. Like you walk a dog, I walk Percy.
I try to do the same. I wanted to see something else too.
At iridescent out of the tree.
So the handling of this
All right,
python.
Rattler, so we've got a reticulated
Tell
python
me
up
what
in this
you
tree at
think
the
it's
edge of this
feeling.
river here, and our guides are up there, and they're going to clear
This
a
is a
path
reticulated
so that we can
python
make
he's
an
about to
attempt
show.
to get him out of that tree
Come
and
on,
take a better
man.
look at him.
Okay, so he's handling this reticulated python. I met Dave
All right,
Crossan.
so
He's actually a wonderful guy.
Here. Dan is positioned
He's just a little out there when it comes to some
I'm
of
on
this
the
stuff.
land. We're going to see where this guy's going to come down.
Okay, come on.
Fantastic.
Okay. So how do you think this?
Why did they do it?
He's actually pulling the python out of the river
Why?
to film it.
So
What do
what's
you-
the purpose of this, of taking this python?
Just to film it.
Oh, so
How do
and
you
then
think
they
it's
release
feeling?
him?
Oh yeah.
All right,
Oh yeah.
Rattler, so we got him out of the
They
tree.
had
Dan
100%
made a
released him.
miraculous midair catch.
How do you think the
But
python
this
is feeling
what
right
the
there?
retics look like in this region. Sometimes they
I think
have
he's
those
shocked,
really
like,
bright lemon
What's going
banana
on?
yellow
Why?
heads.
I was sitting
This
on my
one kind
tree.
of doesn't. This one is really typical coloration.
There's a purpose to that. Is that you've got bearded dragons.
Uh-huh.
So what's your empathy towards animals that aren't bearded dragons? That's the point of doing a retake one.
I love all animals. I
Yeah.
love all the animals, and I think all the animals should have a good long life.
Yeah.
Whether they are at home or outdoors. For example, I don't like spiders. I'm arachnophobe. I'm extremely afraid of them. But when I see a spider at home, I can't kill him because he has a right to live too. So I call my husband. He takes a glass. He catches this spider and releases him outdoors. If it's a big spider. If it's a little one, I just think to myself, I don't see him, I don't see him, I don't see him. And then I just leave this room.
I'm in Missouri, so I get a spider behind my toilet every single place I go. So I just leave them.
A huge one like this one or like the small one?
No, they're not small and they're not huge. They're kind of medium size. And I just leave them. It's like, all right, buddy, eat the bugs. Just don't crawl on me while I'm on the toilet. That's it.
But when the spider is in the middle of the room, when he has his web and he goes down to the middle of the room, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, at least you ain't in Australia when they're this big.
Yes. Yeah. The biggest I saw in Virginia are like this size with their paws, and I start panicking. Not panicking, but maybe I'm kind close to panic. But if he moves, yeah, I'll be in panic. I'll start panicking and screaming maybe. But if he doesn't move, I'll just, okay, stay here. Don't move, please.
There's I wanted to go over your website. Your Etsy.
Yeah, Etsy. You can just go etsy.com and type HikingLizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my shop.
Yeah, see the cookie cutter? It's really cool. We can see that, like, I've always thought these were neat. I just make my own leashes, so, but they're really cool. I thought you used to have, like, hats and stuff on here.
Oh, yeah, they are on this.
Oh, right there's one. Yeah.
Yeah. The hats, they are in, you can see on the left side, Bearded Dragon clothes. So you can see all the hats there. And
I don't like the teepee.
Yeah, TP. I made all these little paintings by myself there.
These are pretty neat. So I really do like the cookie cutters. I'm like going, there's a snake one. I like that one too.
Yeah, two snakes. Yeah, for the snake lovers and fall snake.
I'll be honest with you. These are cute. They're just not something I personally would be interested in, but they don't necessarily hurt the dragon. They do have the eye on top of their head, but it doesn't hurt the dragon. So therefore, I'm just not going to get mad about it. Like, it's not worth it. It's like there's bigger things.
They're just for a cute picture. So you take a dragon, you put the hat on his head, you make a picture, and then he shakes his head and hat is off. So if he doesn't like this, it's okay.
This right here is the only thing I have an issue with. I love this product, but I don't like the advertisement.
Which one?
This video that's going off right here. The actual pillow, car pillow.
Yeah.
For the window, because I've got mine sitting in the windows as we speak. They love it. But it's the apartment. The problem that I've got with that in a car setting is that if you got into an accident, the physics means that animal is going to move. So therefore, when it hits something, it's going to hit them with a different force.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I have a paper going with these pillows saying that you have to be very cautious, and this car pillow absolutely can't be used if you're the only driver, if there's only one person in the car. Because, for example, if me and my husband go somewhere, for example, to West Virginia, we take Percy with us, and he's on his window, like on this pillow, sitting there. But if I feel like my husband is going too fast or there are too many cars, I take Percy with me. So I have always the pet carrier with me, so I can put him there just in case, for example, or if he wants to go to sleep. So these car pillows, they're not for use like all day long. So you can have it all day long, but you can put your dragon there if you are not going very fast, if there are no cars or not many cars, if the situation on the road is stable, normal, no rain.
This is more of what I would suggest. This tote, I got these for $7. About 18 inches tall, so they're not really that tall. You could put that pillow in here, and they can see out. And so what's going to happen is, if you get into a car accident and they're in one of these totes, that energy from the car accident, from the actual deal, will actually move through the tote.
She's like, oh, I can.
And so there'll be less energy for the animal to absorb,
to develop that chin strap
making it
underneath.
easier for them to handle the car accident. And you could put that pillow in there, and that would actually save them more. Like, that would keep them from getting hurt. It's just safety thing. But the pillow,
I know.
I still love it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just thinking from it from a physics standpoint. But everything else, like, I really do appreciate you for being on here, and I'm not trying to, no, we're just trying to make sure we keep these animals safer.
People still do it. So if I have pillows or I do not have pillows, people still put their dragons there or here, or even when they drive, they stay with the dragons or both dragons.
Yeah.
This is unsafe. Or dogs. People have dogs on their laps while driving. Yeah. No, this is no. So many things is no. And of course, I agree with you. That's not the safest thing to do.
Yeah, and I think that's just one of those things that, and I love that. Like, I love that you put something in there that says, okay, be careful with this. But you could put that product in that tote. Now, like I said, those totes were like $7 at Walmart's on clearance. And so you could put that in there and they could still have that pillow. because I've got an old sweater that I got when I worked at Lazy Boy that's still rolled up, and that's sitting in the window, and that's what they lay on, and they love it. They're
Oh
like,
yeah. The window at home can be, you can put really literally anything there. They will love it because this is the window, like the best place to sit and look outdoors.
The term Beardy Mom is thrown around as a derogatory almost by a lot of people. Well, they're beardy moms. But that's a mistake, I think, because if you actually believe that the other person is, this is not towards you. This is for the people in the audience that dislike beardy moms, that think that the beardy mom's beneath them kind of thing, because it's a derogatory. Well, then they should feel obligated to see about what they could do to help. And I think one of the best things that we don't talk about, because I've met many of beardy moms, and you can almost bet your dollar that you can ask them this question and they'll have an answer. What have you learned because you got a bearded dragon? List everything and anything you could possibly think of that you've personally learned, Val, that because you got a bearded dragon that you've learned it.
That's a hard question.
Well, that's the thing. If people should be asking that, and this should be a connection thing. So if you think beardy moms are bad, then you should be asking this question, what do you think? Because gardening, I've known people that learned gardening, that learned sewing, that learned UVB, that learned about keeping bugs, that learned about all these different things. Does any of that are things that you've personally learned? You know, what have you learned? Anything, everything. You've even had to learn some of the medical side, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think this is the point. So the bugs. I've learned that not all the bugs are that scary as I see them. I am extremely afraid of cockroaches, all types of bugs, maybe except of some like butterflies, ladybugs, some grasshoppers, but I used to be extremely afraid of all other bugs. But when you see your dragon is so happy to have them, I just need to start tolerating them. So maybe not loving, but tolerating. So if my dragon loves dubia roaches or superworms, okay, I will try to love them too, but if I can't, I will tolerate them because he loves them and he needs them. The second thing is all about medication. When you know that metronidazole is good for if your dragon has pinworms, and you see his how do I say that? You see how his mood changes when he gets worse or better. So when I was saving a couple of dragons, when you see them sick and then you start giving them medication, they're getting a little better, then worse, then better and better and better. So you start seeing this stuff. Maybe you start paying more attention about the weather because you know there is dragon weather, so you can take your dragon out, not dragon weather. So it's not about the clothes you put on yourself. It's more about, dragon weather. Percy, how about hiking?
I never thought about people learning the weather because of their bearded dragon. I've actually never thought about that. That's actually interesting. No, and see, that's what we're doing here. That's why I have this channel, because of that right there. Now, how many people in the industry now that might go, oh, well, it's a beardy mom. Well, you don't know what that beardy mom knows. Do they understand pinworms and stuff like that? Do they actually care about the weather because of their bearded dragon, because of their reptiles? If they do, then you have common ground to talk to each other. You what do you think of that?
Yeah, totally true. When I got Percy and I got some maybe a couple of thousand followers, I started to talk to Beardy Moms that have a lot more followers than I do, and I realized they know so many, and they are all open to your questions, and they all want to help you. This is really, really good. I love this point.
Yes, and I think that this way, because I always tell people, if you think that animal, if you want to complain about stuff, you need to be on the offensive. You need to be working with the other people to help. That is your obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you don't have the right to complain, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not willing to do that, so this is a great way to do that. And if you're enthusiastic, there's actually studies done with children. Like we're talking to toddlers that barely walk.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see is that they actually pick up on the nonverbals.
Mm-hmm.
Because so they would set a toy down,
Mm-hmm.
and if that presenter looked like they don't like, oh, don't touch it, like that, the baby would wait for that presenter to leave the room to play with the toy.
Yeah.
But if the presenter comes in and they're all play with it, yeah, they would automatically just go ahead and play with it. And so this still carries on to adulthood. So if they're presenting themselves and going, dude, what did you learn? Like, what have you learned since being a Beardy Mom? And like, they're excited. Then now you've got a connection. Mm-hmm. Now you can grow. Both individuals can grow.
Yeah.
You may have something that I don't like. Like I said, I didn't think about. I always think about the weather.
Uh-huh.
Like I keep I'm with you like that, but I never thought about it as part of that question.
Uh-huh.
But it's good. Like how many people don't think about the weather? It's actually a really cool thing, and I think this can push our community even further together. And quit treating Beardy Moms like we're beneath them. No, I had one guy. I take him to the park. And one guy, I had them all three in the totes. I didn't have the chair yet.
Uh-huh.
And the guy looks at me and goes, "Oh, they're just bearded dragons." Like my first thought is, "Excuse you?" My first words were, "Yeah, they're amazingly individual."
People don't know this. They're just lizards, and they will never know. For example, if you have a dragon just for nothing, so you saw somewhere you have a terrarium, a beautiful one, a dragon inside the terrarium, and you never let him out, you will never know his personality. When you start letting him out, you'll find out this dragon has this personality.
Calm Fancy, the big one, head bobs me to come out to go poop. It's like, okay, you're not Blackbeard and you're head bobbing. Okay, you need to come out to go poop. Okay, let's go get you. He has bad gas. He has gastrointestines. When I first got him, they had him in a 30-gallon tank with dirty sand, dirty water, and the crickets were running around.
Oh my gosh.
And so he actually, it was an older gentleman. He didn't have UVB for him for a couple weeks. He was around a year old. He actually had tail rot right in the tip because of how dirty it was. But the old man had a son that was handicapped, so he couldn't take care of him. So that's why he got rid of him. And so that's why I picked him up. And he's so scared of everything. But yet when he's in that basket, like he's in the seat, he's fearless. He thinks he's Superman when he's there. When he's not, he's terrified. He gets so overwhelmed and he just gets so scared. I'm trying to think. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Well, I know there's something else. Like there's a big thing I want to talk about. Have you heard about what's been happening in Florida?
I didn't read the whole article because I felt so bad about this, but I heard that some guys got into breeders' room and killed the pythons, all the snakes.
So I have something I want to show you. I want to show you, and I want to introduce you to my Australian water dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay with that?
Oh yeah, I love water dragons.
He's an Australian water dragon. Australian water dragon.
Look like Beardy dragon.
Yep. That's the point. That this right here is a bearded dragon. This is Hydra. But it's that easy for a fish and wildlife person to come into your home and say, you've got an illegal pet.
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
They can misidentify a pet, and instead of taking it from you and getting it to a proper, better place,
Mm-hmm.
they'll just euthanize all of your animals. That is actually a common occurrence. Misidentification, that is actually what happened in Florida. So I want the Beardy moms out there to understand this is how easy this is. So we need to be supporting U.S. Art Florida in their fight against Florida fish and wildlife and the problems that they have.
Mm-hmm. So that what these guys say is that they just misunderstood what animals are these, or what do they say?
There's so much to it. So basically what happened was Mr. Coffee had over 100 and some pythons. A lot of them were
because
yeah. So he had these pythons since babies. They outlawed them. And so he already had them when they outlawed them. The actual Fish and Wildlife in 2019 or 21 or something like that said that they would grandfather people in. Well, they told him a year ago they actually threw him in jail because they sent a letter to the wrong address. So they put him in jail for it. And then he sold almost all of his reptiles except for like 35 pythons he couldn't get rid of. And they told him 14 months ago that he could not get rid of them now. He has to keep them. And so they took that right there. And so the 6th of this month, 2 weeks ago, last Thursday, they went into it wasn't his facility. It was somebody else's facility. And they told him that you either let us euthanize your animals or we're going to take you to jail. And so, and he's been keeping in contact with USR or FWC. Mm-hmm. He's been keeping in contact with them so he could keep legal. Mm-hmm. But then they went in, and if you have pets, they should be put down by a vet.
Yeah. But
the FWC has this thing, wild animals, they have it on their website. They use a bolt gun, pop the brain, take a screwdriver, and screw that up, start it up in there, because that gives them a quicker death in the wild. It's a makeshift way to euthanize your animal. So they went into Mr. Coffee's, the facility Mr. Coffee was using at the time for his pythons, and they used a bolt gun only. So the nerves and stuff were still going on with the snake. So actually, they were not euthanized correctly. So they were given horrible deaths that should never have happened. He should have been grandfathered in. This is 100% on FWC. And the commissioners of FWC are actual land developers. So they don't actually care about the conservation of Florida. Mm-hmm. So another thing that they did was the boa is not illegal in Florida. And even the illegal part of it, when you hear the news and they say invasive species, Well, in 1999, President Clinton signed into law some conservation efforts and actually labeled the he's still down here, labeled that invasive species means they have to be a detriment to society, to people, or the environment.
Mm-hmm.
These are not actually invasive. They're not actually a detriment. They can't really survive. There's only a few pythons that actually can.
Mm-hmm.
He's so, yeah, and so they're lying about that to begin with. They lied about Mr. Coffee, that he told them that they should go in and euthanize his animals. No, he was actually under threat of prison.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then they were told not to pull the boa.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't even his boa. But these guys, I believe, are normal people, and normal people do the most horrendous shit under authoritarianism. As long as there's an authority figure telling them to do stuff, normal people will do the most horrendous shit. So these guys probably had no idea what they were really doing. They didn't handle snakes properly. You can tell. Yes, I'm talking. No, buddy. No, you're okay, buddy. So,
It's like people asking, oh, when they see Percy with me, Percy on the harness, oh, is he venomous? Is this an iguana? So I get.
Oh my God! I had all three of them in a cart at Cabela's, and a guy walked by and goes, "Look at the iguanas! Boy, they're little iguanas! Wow! Why are your iguanas not green?"
All the time.
Yeah, even the people that were working there were like, "What?" Like, even they were like, "That's not an iguana! Like, what the hell?"
This is why on the April Fool's Day I had a giveaway with a iguana little harness for a dragon, just to make fun.
See, like I said, Hydra here is a bearded dragon that at 4 months old couldn't lift himself up.
Mm-hmm.
You can see he doesn't actually have fat pockets, but he looks pretty healthy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks good. Very
but
good.
he doesn't have fat pockets like he's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened to him during those times that he was calcium deficient. Took me 2 weeks to get him back on all fours. And I've got video of it. You can hear me crying in the background while he's jumping around his tank. So, like I said, that's his safety spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
the best spot.
Yeah.
And
Does yours have a safety spot?
Casper is falling asleep. This is the best place for him to fall asleep.
Well, your screen kind of froze on that. So it's like...
Yeah.
It's a good screen. It's like, yeah, no, that might be the actual freaking thumbnail. So...
Really, such a sweet baby. Such a sweet, dearest baby.
So is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Maybe one thing I'd like to say is I would somehow encourage people not to buy... first thing is not to buy dragons from pet stores, because most of these babies are already sick, I don't know, maybe 25% of them will die next 2-3 weeks because they are from very horrible conditions. And the second thing is, I don't know how to do it. I don't know, but I know this can be done. When you go to pet store, you see this Zilla and other guys who sell good terrariums, but fill them with red lamps, with heat stones and other stuff that are not for bearded dragons. They're from other reptiles, but they call it for bearded dragon starter kit. So I don't know how to do it, but maybe if we all...
We've got people working on that. We're trying to educate, and that's a good thing for this. That's a good thing for people.
Yeah, if we all sign petitions, please stop selling these kits. Everything else, okay, yeah, but
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that in some ways. There's some laws I think we could pass that are actually good laws for this type of thing. But the politicians will hijack it like they did in Florida, and they'll end up outlawing our animals and blaming us for it when they just want to land develop. That's actually a thing that's happening in Florida, and I hope a lot of people can actually sign up for US Art Florida. I'll have it in the description. You can do it for free. Or you can actually help them because they're legally fighting Florida. And Florida is one of the biggest places for reptiles, period. And so
But I just don't get this. So these companies like ZooMed, Zilla, and others, they really have good stuff. I like their stuff. But why to put bad stuff in one place and call it kit? And
Ryan McVeigh was actually a part of that at one point in time. He was actually, I believe, Zilla's head marketing researcher guy. He's an engineer. And he started his own company because of that type of stuff. Because they're profit over healthy animals. That's what it is. It's all about profit. So he started VivTech. And he's been working on LED lighting. Like I said, I put grow lights and UVB in all of my enclosures, no matter what species, because it's actually beneficial to have a grow light, that UVA. But his lights actually have UVA on them already because of the LED. And so UVB helps keep them alive from not getting metabolic bone disease. But UVA also benefits, we believe. Mine will bask under each of them individualized. But he wants down to do something. I don't know why. They don't like hanging out with me.
Yeah, very busy, very busy.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're aware of what's going on. It's just profit.
I know. You just have no idea how many messages I get with this. Hi, my dragon doesn't feel well. Can you please show me the pictures of your terrarium? Here it is. Red lights, heat stone, and wrong temperatures.
I make my dragons climb to get to where they want to get to the UVB, proper UVB. So a lot of what they say is correct. I got a degree in physics. I'm sorry that a lot of people might believe that their viewpoint's better than mine. No, I have a degree in physics. There's a difference here, guys. So I put my UVB in the back, and I run a smaller grow light over a garden, and I have a magnetic ledge that's at the right height for them to get the proper UVB. So they have to climb to get to that UVB. And so that's why... They stay healthier that way.
Same for my guys. So you need to climb to bask and get the UV.
Yes, I actually watch them. They go to the bricks after they eat, and then they move their way down, and they will bask individually under a grow light, the UVA, and then eventually they'll move to the front of the tank where there's no UV because they want to get away from it.
I'm from Russia, and I also look what Russia community says, and what's like the difference between Russian and American community is American communities say that all the dragons need to have a height. Russian community says no height at all because dragons need UV all the time. So please don't put a height. Because they will hide there and they will stop getting this UV, and people will quarrel about this and say bad words like, please remove the height. This is absolutely no for dragons. So I think this is the main difference.
Yeah, that is not correct. Like I said, when I take my dragons out, I put him up and back in the window. So when I take my dragons out for a walk, they get dark to take in the UV. Well, after a couple of hours, usually after an hour, hour and a half, they will lighten their color up because they don't want more UV, and they will go out of their way to get out of the sun. So what's happening is they don't have, because I heard a vet actually say it once where they were like, well, they need UVB all day long. It's like, no, they don't actually.
But
That
they
is
dig,
incorrect.
they climb, they hide themselves. So
Yeah, actually in the wild, I believe often what they happens is they get up higher to a spot, they bask during the morning where they get super dark to collect more of that radiation. And if you want proof that it's radiation, think of when the bombs went off in Hiroshima in World War II, the atomic bombs. The women back then didn't have dresses like we have today. Boy, that froze at a really bad spot. I'm so sorry. It looks like you got like an eye like fluttering at that exact moment. It's wild. I'm so sorry. It's just really cool. Understand. So that was a really bad freeze on give it a moment.
and I see the picture very well.
So the women back then didn't have like the color dresses like they do today. The dresses that they had were black and white. So the actual patterns that were black actually got scorched into their skin
Wow.
because of the radiation. Dark absorbs radiation differently than light color does.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it scorched into their skin.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what the dragons are actually doing. They're because it doesn't matter if you pull them out in 70-degree weather, if you pull them out in a 70-degree tank or a 90-degree tank, if you move them out in 70 degrees, they are going to get darker just because of that.
But
Because they're
it's the
collecting
stress
UV.
too. There's not only this, but the stress too. Some dragons are extremely afraid of what's outside. Some
Yes.
dragons can't be taken outside. They're afraid. They start gaping like angrily and puffing their beard. So this happens too to
When
some dragons.
when Casper was looking up, that's kind of what he's doing. Yeah, he's like, so what's above me? Even though they have the third eye on top of their heads. You know that, right?
Mhm. Yeah, of course.
They have a third eye.
Yeah, I know that.
But
I know
yeah,
that.
no, that look up, yeah. It's really fascinating how that works. So when people tell you that they need to be in the sun for 24 hours a day, no, that's how they get cancer. In the wild, they're probably going to get somewhere, get super dark in the morning. Then they're going to use that energy that they collected from the sun to go hunt for a little bit while it's still cool enough. And then as the days get super hot, they're going to get somewhere where it's shady, but yet a couple feet off the ground.
Mhm.
And they're going to hang out there for most of the day and just kind of cryptic bask. That means there's going to be little parts that are basking, and other animals do a lot of cryptic basking. So that's more what they're actually doing in the wild. They're not just baking in the sun all day.
And they are not stupid. They know that if they need heat or UV, they just go and take it. If they need
Yeah.
food, they go to the bowl and take it.
Yeah. I've noticed that when I accidentally let them get too hot, they have a problem with holding in their poop.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why, your basking spot should be like 105,
Mm-hmm.
but the hot side should only be in the low 90s, approximately.
And they must have cold side too if they want.
Yes, they must have that gradient.
Yeah, this is like a common mistake when they put heat bulb in the middle, just in
Yeah.
the middle. Yeah, so there is no cold side, hot side and warm side, no cold side.
Exactly, because like I just said, if over pooping, it can be just as bad as under pooping, because then they're not keeping in the nutrients.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Calm Fancy, when I got him, he still has issues with it today. Like I said, he's got gastral issues. And so his poop is very rarely solid,
Mm-hmm.
even today. And he's super healthy. He's got fat pockets. His tail rot's fine. It's no longer there. I got that fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wonderful to how that all works out. And I really appreciate you being here. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Mm, maybe encourage people to take dragons, to adopt dragons from shelters and from other people. Yeah, like
Yes.
Craigslist, OfferUp, Marketplace, shelters. Because so many, when I got my first dragon, he died. He had, I get some gene problem. He was very beautiful, but he stopped growing at the age of 5 months, and he never grew any bigger. And we had like 7 months of vets, constant vets, and we tried to do anything. So no improvements at all. And then he had seizures, horrible, horrible seizures. I was sitting with him day and night. He died. When he was feeling very, very bad, we euthanized him. But I know we should have done this much earlier, because he was. We were torturing him, keeping him like this. So, what people say that who've been saving the dragons for 10 and more years, that this is all about beautiful genes that are misbred.
Yeah. Yeah. This guy was normal when I got him.
Mm-hmm.
This bearded dragon passed away and I made a death mold of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this mold is of.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a real, like, you can see the fine details in it.
Yeah. The scales. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a male that I had. I named him Spike. He's actually on my, I only had him, he was about 7 months and I got him at like 2 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And he developed a hump on his back towards the last days of his life. But I came home late from work and I found him dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me PTSD. I had to actually get cameras. That's what these are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I literally will cry my eyes out if I'm tired and coming home late from work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, is Pitch dead?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is she dead? It's like such a fear that comes over me. And so I will actually stop the car and get on my phone and look up the camera and see that my baby girl is still alive. And that will help calm me down. I'm about to do a trauma episode with a trauma therapist, and we're going to talk about this kind of stuff. Like what we should be doing about it and stuff like that. This is really important stuff to learn. That, yeah, if you take in an animal, it's probably going to die eventually.
Yeah.
And just how we deal with it's a very important thing. And
But when I took my boy Einstein, I never knew that there are shelters and that you can take a reptile from people, from Craigslist, from anywhere. I didn't know. If I knew that, I would take a young guy from someone. I wouldn't buy this dragon.
You can often find rescues, and there's differences between a rescue and a wildlife rescue. A rescue is going to take in your bearded dragons, your leopard geckos, your pythons.
Yeah.
You know, your domesticated more type of animals. While a wildlife rescue wants to take in local wildlife that is being injured to actually send back into the wild.
Yeah, we did this with the turtle. We found the turtle with this big eye last year, and this turtle was taken to this wildlife rescue, and they saved her eye. This was a girl, box turtle. They saved her eye, and they put her back to our forest, to our river. So after one or 2 months of antibiotics and all this medication stuff, but she was alive and her eye was okay. So she's somewhere.
That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, I love stories like that. That's great.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think I'm good.
I try to do this with all my guests. Can you tell me what you have learned or what you feel most people should take away from this interview, that why they should watch?
I think we all can watch such interviews to see the reptile love from another point. You have one point, someone has another point, and we all can learn Maybe just a little bit of new, but we still can learn that.
Great. Now, for people that think these animals don't understand human feelings at all, my Pitch the bitch has only allowed me to let her sleep on me like that the weekend that Spike died.
Oh,
So I was bawling my eyes out. She's got this like a plate that I got at Target that I made into a hammock type thing for her, like a swinging, and she would sit in it and like hide herself from me. And so the whole weekend I'm sitting here just bawling my eyes out, and she actually would like tip her nose over the bowl and just okay, and then dive back down and like keep an eye on me. And eventually I pulled her out and like held her like her, and she just snuggled up. It's one of the only times she has ever snuggled up to me. Like it's like she knew something was wrong.
I think I can tell you just the same. When Einstein, the first dragon I ever had, died, we had a leopard gecko, a girl, Cleopatra, and she was wild because she was a survival. She lived with other geckos. There were like 10 geckos in a bathtub. They all survived. And so she hated us. She hated humans. But these days, she started to go into my hand. So the wild little girl, when my dragon died, I was crying 3 days in a row. I couldn't stop. And these days, she started to come out during the day, and I'm like, hi, I'm here. And I could take her for like 5 minutes to talk to her and put her back. That was really something.
It is. And that's what I tell people. For people out there, why reptiles over dogs? Well, I explain it like this. Between my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandmother was a saint. She's like a dog. Loves you no matter what I did. Like, just loves you no matter what. That's a dog.
Yeah.
My grandfather's like a reptile. You earned that love. You had to work for it. And it made you feel more appreciative of that love.
Yeah.
That's why people fall harder for reptiles.
True. This is absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you put it that way. It helps people understand it better. Like, oh, shit. Like, oh my God, yeah. Yeah,
that's really true. That's what we try to do with Lori, one of our rescues. We still do everything to earn his love. We almost have learned his trust, but now he tolerates us, but I want him to love me, and I will do this. I will make him love me.
I get that. I so get that. I literally I've got a couple Savannah monitor babies, and I just laid down outside their enclosure just so they could get the feeling that I'm not about to hurt them. There's also a thing that I like to do, the slow blink. I learned this from stray cats.
What's this?
Slow blink. You just...
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
That's it.
The cats start trusting you with this.
Yeah, because it's telling them that you're not predator, you don't want to eat them, and then you're not scared of them. Same thing for the reptiles. They actually respond to it. Now, another thing is turning of the back. My Peter Bandit skinks, I have learned that they communicate like that by turning their backs on each other. So that's the exact same meaning. Oh, I'm not scared of you, and I'm not here to hurt you. So we're just gonna like it's the same nonverbal. Yeah. So yeah, I just
This is the point. This is why you need to watch such interviews. I learned something from you. You learned something from me. So This is the point.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I'll add that to the front. Yeah. So and for anybody out there that thinks Beardy Moms something's wrong with them, because they put a hat on a lizard.
Mhm.
Well, then one, you have problems with Adam Wickens from Wickens Reptiles because he put a hat on a Beardy, so he's the Beardy Mom. I don't even put hats on Beardies, and I'm a Beardy Mom, and I'm damn proud of it. Are you proud to be a Beardy Mom?
I am. I do am.
I am too. And so if you really think Beardy Moms are a problem in the industry, then you need to be asking them a question of, what have you learned because you got a bearded dragon?
And can I ask you a question? What have you learned being a Beardy Mom?
Fuck. I am not normal. So I am literally not a normal person. And I've got videos on why I'm not. And so it's really, I have learned more in a year with the bearded dragons than some 20-year keepers have. So I have learned everything from, okay, so if your bearded dragon, if you get one that's under a year old and it's starting to get metabolic bone disease, giving it extra calcium for a while and extra vitamins is actually okay under 1 year old because they have such a high growth rate. Then they will use it. Over calcium is a problem, but you know how you fix over calcium? You stop giving them calcium and let their body use it up. That's it. That's all you do. So, but when they're under 1 and they're going through metabolic bone disease, so like Hydra couldn't lift himself up. That's what I did. I force fed him a couple times a day, and I gave him vitamins every day, and every meal I gave him calcium for 2 weeks, basically. Now, I would say what you do is, 5 days and then take 2 or 3 off, and then go 5 more days, and then take 2 or 3 off, and then start a regular regimen to help fix that issue earlier if they're under the age of 1, because they grow so fast under that age. If they're over the age of 1, you actually have to take them to a vet to get them treated properly.
This is what I did to my leopard gecko. When I got my leopard gecko, he was shaking.
Yeah.
So what I did is calcium with D3, and I took him in a box outdoors for the sun, for the natural sun UV. And
Taking
this
him out
helped.
to the sun. Yeah.
After 2 weeks, he stopped shaking. And of course, he had meals every second day because he was like this. He was very thin. He had a big head, and he was so tiny. So he had meals quite often, more often than usually geckos have. And all with the calcium and repassion and all this stuff. After two weeks, he stopped shaking. And after 4 weeks, he started to gain weight.
Good.
So
Good.
Now he's a healthy, happy guy.
I learned to do fecals. I have a video on doing fecals at home. And it cost me about $100 to get all the stuff. But so if you do 4 fecals, you've actually made money.
Yeah.
Because taking to the vet and stuff. And I've got a video on doing that. I learned to do that.
But you can't get the medication. If you see the pinworms, for example, you can't get medication without a vet.
Well, that's not true. Pinworms, you usually can get the medication without a vet. Pinworms, and like there's a basic general dewormer that you can get without a vet. You can. But sometimes you'll get stuff that you can't get without a vet. And sometimes there's antibiotics that you can't get without a vet. And so, but no, basic stuff like pinworms, you can actually get antibiotics.
So you can get this metronidazole, this stuff you can buy without a vet?
Yes, but I don't know if that's the one that I would mainly use for pinworms. I think there's a better one out there, a more generalized one. I think what you're talking about is something that's actually an antibiotic that's used to treat worms, I believe, if I'm thinking correctly. That's actually what I treat Calm Fancy with his oh God, I'm trying to think what that is. His intestinal problems. That was what I used for that, because it's an antibiotic as well.
One of my friend has a dragon who has pinworms, and they prescribed her metronidazole and fenbendazole.
Yeah, which it works. It works, and it's an antibiotic. It's yeah. I mean, it's pinworms really aren't that hard to get rid of. Just a 10-day deal. My skinks, our Peter Banded skinks, are wild caught, and they came in with a type of worm, super easy to get rid of. But the eggs take 3 months to hatch.
Oh, whoa.
So it's like, so you have to treat them, you have to wait 3 months, and then you have to retreat them, and then take another sample to test if they're free of it.
And then another sample just in case.
Yeah. Actually. And so we did that. I had to learn more about reptile lighting. I actually built my own enclosures.
We have 2 built enclosures and 2 built lights. So,
That's so much cheaper. Normally, Dubia.com has some cheap enclosures right now that are appropriate. Like for $269 for a 4x2x2.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
That's
I can't build it that cheap.
But we built it very cheap. We built it less than $50.
Well, I don't use wood. I use PVC.
We have wood, but I put like acrylic wood, acrylic water, something on wood.
I'm a polymer chemist, so plastics and stuff is actually something I understand. I absolutely 100% recommend going with PVC wood board. It's a little bit more expensive, but it will last you longer. The 2 enclosures that I made, they're wood, they're metal, acrylic, glass, and PVC board.
The thing I also do is I always search for enclosures in marketplace.
Yes.
Last year I donated 10 or 12 enclosures I got for free or for cheap, and I donate them to shelters. So every year we collect them and donate. Collect, donate.
I have learned to gut feed my insects. I have actually learned to breed my own dubias. And what I do with my dubias is I keep them over my actual bearded dragon enclosures so they get hotter. So they stay warm, and the dubias will actually breed. Yeah. And it's just cheaper. We don't warm up the things because they're already heat rising.
And do you know that, for example, if you don't feed dubias next 2 weeks, you can put orange, you take oranges and put orange peel inside. They eat it and they start breed more. But you can't feed dubias these 2 weeks, just in case.
Yeah. The super worms I feed, and boy, they throw in a few carrots, and oh my God, my dragons love carrots. Pitch is a picky bitch. She, the other 2, Calm Fancy and Hydra. Hydra's actually a fantastic swimmer.
Oh, Percy, same. Extremely good swimmer, and he dives in.
That's what I was about to say. Hydra dives, and he's like it's literally like a torpedo. It's so cool.
Percy runs towards sink and dives in, and then goes out and dives in again. Oh, that's with closing nose and with the bubbles coming out. Oh my gosh.
My boys love banana.
Banana lover.
Pitch doesn't care. Pitch is like,
he loves yellow colors. Oh, yellow colors.
Oh God. Fancy gets so excited. Hydra actually watched me eat the banana and like came over. Is like, oh no, I want it. Come on, give it to me.
This is
like, okay, buddy, all right. I'm
he tries to get into your mouth because where does banana disappear? No, give it to me. All the time. Yeah, that's so funny. And then you give him a piece, and he's like, okay, next one.
Oh yeah. I like my skinks a little bit better than I like my beardies, but I tell people my beardies are like what my grandfather said about kids. I wouldn't take $1 million for any of my bearded dragons, but I wouldn't give a nickel for another one.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I'm at right now with them. Like I've got 3. I don't want any more. I'm pretty good with it. I love them. No, if you came in and killed them, I'm in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the backwoods. I'm a hillbilly scientist. I will 100%. Somebody will disappear. If my dragon disappears, they will disappear.
I see.
Nothing will happen to them. They just disappear.
I see.
And I'm a chemist, so this is actually, we'll make this
There's
work.
one very good book about a portrait of Dorian Gray. Yeah, one person disappeared from there too.
So yeah, I've learned so much because that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to get a 3D printer and I'm going to print out better looking models of my enclosure, how I have it set up. And I'm going to make it to where the lights can be set up easily like that so that they can actually just have the lights right where they're at. And so people don't have to measure. They don't have to think about how it measures. But this is an important thing to learn is Ferguson zones and understanding that your UVB is a range, not an exact.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just put a light in in your top of your room and go, there it is. No, they actually have a range. And depending on what your light source is, helps with that range. So it's like the zoom eds need to be about 13 to 12 inches. Your Arcadia 12% need to be about 18 inches, 17 to 18. And then your, I'd have to look at it again for VivTech. But the grow lights, they say to actually keep a grow light above the garden about 6 inches. That's not okay for a bearded dragon. So my grow lights are about 10 inches because of safety reasons. And my bearded dragons 100% will bask underneath a grow light and
That's
not just a UVB.
That's interesting because I remember I read an article about different types of ultraviolets, and they say that the reptiles need different ones. Yeah,
and that's what's so great about VivTech and what they do is that it has UVA and UVB. It doesn't get hot, and it has low energy costs because it's an LED. So they allow their snakes to actually crawl on the actual bulb itself. And they're they're super hardy. And so, but you probably want 2 of them, one for a cold side and one for the hot side. They're $80 a piece. But here's the kicker. They have a 2-year warranty. So if the bulb goes out in 2 years, it's fully replaced. And so that cost actually comes out to exactly the same amount of cost for a zoom ed, 3-foot light. So it's actually a fair market value. It's actually a good value because they should last 4 years and not have any issues. They probably even last longer than that. And so you don't have to replace them for 4 years.
For 4 years. So you mean when you put a new lamp, it has this UV light, and even after 2 years, it's still working. So you mean it doesn't fade away?
Yep. That's what he's doing. And we're trying to do more studies with it so we can learn where its problems lie. But it's actually a UVB LED, the first one in America. The problems with doing that with a China bulb is they produce UVC. Your body does not use UVC. A bearded dragon's body does not use UVC. UVC is massively cancerous. it's actually something that gets filtered out through our atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that we don't actually experience.
Mm-hmm.
So UVA and UVB are things. We're trying to work with I'm trying to get to the local, like, huge college that we have here to see about testing out his equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, we have a fantastic college here in St. Louis to do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good to know. And then to spread within dragon community, reptile community, that this is this and that is that. Please pay attention.
Yeah, Ryan McVeigh is a huge, huge guy in the industry. That's why when I talk about things like this, I often do that. But he doesn't really like Beardy Moms. And I hope, like, this episode, I don't know if he'll see it, but hopefully this will, like, because I think he would be very approving. I know he would be approving of what I said because of that. Because, you know, asking that question, what have you learned from having a Beardy? Like, I think that even he would be like, yes, that's great. And it's so interesting how one little question can change everything. And we don't do it enough in this world. We don't ask enough questions. And it drives me up the wall. It's like, just ask a bloody question. That's why I hate a lot of the administrators of Facebook groups, because they don't ask enough questions. They just give an answer like they're a supreme knowledge.
Yeah,
I'm still learning shit. And I've outdone 20-year keepers already.
The right question moves us forward with the answers.
Yes. And that's what I hope to do with this episode. That's why this episode was so big for me, is that we want to see and try to get people to understand that one simple question. And if you do it excitingly, now you've got a fan, because they appreciate the excitement. How much more excited did you feel when I got all energized? Did that energize you? Did you feel more energized at that time?
Of course. I will ask my husband the same question. I will ask, and I will write down the answer, what he tells me.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I absolutely needed this. You have just been absolutely wonderful, and I hope more people. What expo do you go to that you sell at?
I go to Manassas Expo in Virginia, a small town of Manassas, and we have Northern Virginia Expo. So I usually take part there. Sometimes I go somewhere else. For example, once we tried Gettysburg, but it's 2 hours driving, so too far.
Yeah, I
but I guess, we try find some more expos in fall. I want to find now to pay and to take part in fall, because in fall it's the weather is not so good, so you're going to expos.
I understand. So is there anything else that you can think of?
I can give you a couple of people who will be happy to talk to you too, if you're interested.
Oh, yeah. I'm very interested.
Yeah, I know that one girl 100% will be happy to talk to you. Maybe someone else too. I'll think about it, because that will be interesting to have different people and different opinions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I really appreciate that. I don't think enough people stay long enough for these videos, so I'm starting to break them down more and put more things into them. But, like, do you feel like maybe, because, like, did you ever watch my videos before this?
No, I never knew that you have a channel. You just asked if we can make an interview. I said, yeah, why not? But I didn't know that you have a channel. I'm not a YouTube person. I'm more like I watch videos on Instagram. I don't like TikTok, so.
Yeah, I've got some pretty hardcore stuff coming up, though.
Mm-hmm. I'd be happy if you give me the link to your account, YouTube videos. I'd be happy to watch them.
Yeah, I've got ton. I've got nonverbals of bearded dragon beards. What do you think this means when they get dark right here?
Once again, the video stopped. Once again, please.
When a bearded dragon gets dark right here, what does it mean?
Not the beard, but here. So
But
you mean
right
the
here.
whole beard?
Not the whole beard, just right here.
Uh,
Pitch the bitch gets this chin strap. It's not a full beard. It's literally like this like piece of chin, just a chin strap where it gets dark. What do you think that means? It's not full beard.
I'm trying to remember if any of my guys do this, because my guys
they
usually
do.
do the whole.
They do, but you may not see it. I've met 20-year keepers who didn't know this actually exists. And yet I've met snake discovery. I asked Emily about this, and she knew the answer. I was so impressed.
I think these guys do this because Percy always has the whole beard, but this guy may do only really a stripe. I guess this is not anger. This is maybe when he is excited or something like this. I don't know. So some emotions.
Annoyed, a little upset, or they just feel bad. Not anger. They're just annoyed.
Yeah, anger is whole beard. Whole beard is anger.
Yeah, anger is whole beard. This is I'm annoyed, I'm a little upset, and or I might be feeling bad. Watch for it now. You'll be like, oh, you don't like being poked in the chin. Okay. I like to pick on Fancy. And he'll just do it. Like, it's just like that. Like, pitch.
I'll try this.
Yeah, pitch. Actually, like I said, she gets that full chin strap. And she'll get so mad being put in that tote that I take her out in that I told you it was safe. And she gets so mad. And she just does the chin strap. And it's like, seriously? You know you're going somewhere where you're happy. It's like, but she gets so pissed off about it. And she'll just have it on for hours, even though she's happy. Because it's interesting. It doesn't just happen automatically. I've got studies in nonverbal human communication. So it doesn't just happen automatically. It's something that when it happens, it doesn't go away automatically either. So it's really interesting. Are their brains still upset, or has their colors not adapted to their actual mood yet? Because if they're not overstressed a lot, then this should not be an automatic thing. It should actually take time. That is a sign that they have healthy brains and lives, I believe. If they're unhealthy and they've been overstressed for too long, this should be almost instantaneous. But if they're not overstressed, this should be something that takes a minute to happen. So you should.
Yeah, maybe.
So when you see that their beards are dark, don't think this is something that just happened. Think, oh, what happened in the last minute to cause this? Not what just happened now. What happened over the last minute? Because it's something that's not just instantaneous. And I show it on a video.
I think when this guy starts to dance and scratch the screen, and when I am not in his room, when I'm in the kitchen and I hear that, so it takes me some time to get to him. So maybe this is when I see because you human, let me out. Why I need to wait for this? So I usually, when I hear, I let him out just the same 10 seconds.
I just thought about the way I was doing this. I'm like, yeah, that's a Beardy move right there. And I do it to calm Fancy. I literally, when he head bobs me to come out to go poop, I head bob him back. It's like, no, I'm in charge, buddy. I'm in charge.
This December, after brumation, my Percy, my orange dragon, he had this mating season period for a whole month. And once he attacked Sasha, my husband. So he literally climbed on the sofa bag, got to Sasha, bobbed to him a couple times, like, see, I'm attacking you. Had this jet black beard, and he beat him in his scarf. And after that, we thought, okay, mating season will end, it will end too. No, it's not. So once a week, even now, no mating season at all, He just sits on his window and then he just, I need to attack Sasha. Blackbeard, bobbing, and he goes to attack Sasha. Once a week he does this. What the heck? I don't know, but I guess he just likes this. And last week, Sasha goes to office every Tuesday and Thursday. Other days he works from home. So it was Thursday. Percy had this black beard. He decided to attack Sasha. He got to the sofa, but there was no Sasha on the sofa. Sasha was in the office. And he was so angry. He had this black beard. He went to another side of sofa. Still no Sasha.
Is that the video you showed?
Yeah, I showed the video. He was
I
so
saw
furious.
that. I was like, what?
Yeah, because he was looking at the sofa, tried one angle and another angle, no Sasha. So that was so hilarious. Oh my gosh. Percy is such a personality.
That. That was so cool. I was like, what is he doing? It's great.
Now Sasha has his winter hat near the sofa to put it on. And when Percy wants to attack Sasha, he comes closer, tries hat, but it's not Sasha. And he tries again, still not Sasha. And he's angry bobbing and angry bobbing again, comes to Sasha again, but it doesn't smell, feel like Sasha. It's hat.
So basically he's challenging Sasha for dominance over the place. That's another thing right there. They are territorial.
But last year it was okay. He was dominating for a whole month, same, but no Sasha attacking.
The species, what people don't understand is bearded dragons are territorial. When you say it like that, instead of, they're aggressive towards each other, they're territorial towards each other. So if they don't feel like a place is actually their own, so I take all three of mine out and they don't feel like the area is theirs, they don't fight. They're more concerned with everything else going on. Mm-hmm. But once they make that connection, when I took them to the park, and I didn't have the stroller, it was the end of the second trip that I saw Pitch and Fancy kind of show aggression towards each other. And I knew the third trip was going to be bad. Mm-hmm. And before I even got Pitch out of the car, she already had her tail up. What do you think this means for their tail?
I think this is their dominance and confidence, because Percy always has this tail up when he's in the living room.
This is I'm alert.
Alert, yeah. And I have one dragon. His tail is always like this. He's shy. He is not self-confident. He is still learning.
People don't understand. These animals do actually have confidence issues.
Yes.
They actually do. It's an actual thing. So this is I'm alert. What do you think this is?
You mean the angle is more?
Yeah, when it curves like this. There's this and there's this. What do you think that means?
More confident, more dominance, aggression.
Hunt mode.
Hunt?
Hunting mode. They're looking for something. They're hunting. This is I'm hunting.
When Percy looks for Sasha, his tail is a very good circle, like Akitas and all these dogs have.
And they remember in 3D. Pitch, that third trip that I took to the lake, her tail was like that before we got to the lake, because she recognized it. And so she was so excited. When I put her out and put her on the deck, she immediately jumped down on the third trip and went to go hunt for bugs immediately. Mm-hmm. This is an area she should not be that familiar with, but she was so comfortable and confident, while the other two were not yet, that this to her was her territory.
I think the only situations when my shy dragon Lori has this tail a little bit like this is when he sees bugs. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is a roach box. Yeah. he started being a little more confident. But yeah, he's very shy.
Pitch is always Pitch. Wow, like I said, Pitch is very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her. So you have the hide. She comes down the hide.
Mm-hmm.
She sees the cricket. She waved at the cricket. You know what waving means, right?
You show dominance, that you are dominant, not me.
Yeah, it shows submissive.
Submissive. Yeah, they show submissive.
She waved at the cricket, and when the cricket came out, she ate it.
Sly little dragon.
It's like, did you like? I saw it and went, did you just lie to a cricket? Did you just tell a cricket that you're peaceful, and then eat it? I watched her one night go into that hide, and there was a couple crickets in it. This was like very, very early on. This was before I even built my own enclosures. So this is like a couple weeks into having them. And so there was a couple crickets in the hide. She slapped them and then laid down. Didn't eat them. She slapped them and then laid down.
But why?
She bullied the crickets. I don't know. Like, she was showing her dominance, I guess. Pitch is very intelligent, and there's a reason for the name Pitch the Bitch. She lives up to it. And now she's looking at me because I said it. Yes, we're talking about you, and I love you. You're my baby girl. My baby girl. I love you. I do. She's a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Yeah. Yeah.
One of my boys is so mean too, but it's not. He's not bad. He was just mistreated, but.
Yeah, and that does actually impact them. Like, it really is something that they have memory.
They do have.
I have a theory. Pitch is very intelligent, but when she tries to start fights with Hydra, who's on the bottom, and she goes around the enclosure when she gets free roamed, she stops like she has forgotten what she's doing. Now, when you have a healthy brain, that is actually a sign of a healthy brain. You know how if you walk into another room and you go, what was I thinking? That's an actual sign of a healthy brain. I'm wondering, it's a theory. Don't quote me on it yet, but I'm wondering if that's what's happening to Pitch. As she goes around the corner, she's just like, what the hell was I doing? I wonder.
I know that, for example, Percy, if I let him out, he's in this room. This is my study. When I let him out, I close 2 other dorms because I have 3 terrariums in 3 rooms because all of them are 3 guys. Percy is aggressive, Casper is aggressive, Lori is shy. So I close other doors because Percy will enter another room to try fighting. So that's why the rooms are closed, and he already kind of forgot that someone is there, but he knows where the living room is. There is a long corridor, and he walks like this, like he's doing like his morning jogging there in the living room. He knows where is the place. So basically he knows like how this house works. He knows where is this, where is that.
He remembers in 3D.
Yeah, he remembers all this as he thinks, territory.
Well, there's studies on other lizards that show that they map their territory. Mm-hmm. Like it's an actual thing that they do. And if you
close the door and the door is white, he will be somewhere near, like scratching, there should be a door. I know, their way out is somewhere here. This is cool.
Yeah, it's very fascinating how that works. And it's something that we don't think about. Mm-hmm. And it's something that it's something to think about when you're talking about their mental health. And that is something that we don't hear. When I go to shows and expos and stuff, I often will use the word, okay, so my dragons are mentally and physically healthy. Mm-hmm. And they will look at me and go, yeah, they're physically healthy. like I don't recognize that they don't say mentally. Like they don't actually look at these animals as if they're mentally healthy, as if there's something mental to them. And it's like, no, they do have mentalness. They do actually, they even have empathy, but it's not what you think. Empathy for a person is I put myself in somebody else's shoes. Animals don't have that kind of empathy. But they do have empathy in the term of like, have you ever seen like videos where somebody's running around a corner and somebody else sees it and they start running with them and then they realize they're not running away from anything? You ever seen that? That's a form of empathy. They have that because that's actually healthy for them to have that. Because if there's a bunch of animals running in the jungle or running in Australia, they need to feel like they need to be running too for their own safety. So therefore, that type of empathy, it's called modeling. They have modeling. That is actually something they have.
You know what's interesting? For example, Casper. He even had broken fingers, so someone was grabbing him. He had very unfortunate life, but now, even if I'm just appear, maybe he didn't expect me to appear, and I like, hey Casper, he still is very still and calm, and he trusts me 200%. When it comes to Percy, the orange, my guy, the celebrity, when we just got him, I tried to touch him, he was flinching away. He was extremely afraid of hands and everything. He was in basement. There were 2 toddlers. Father of toddlers told me that they didn't touch him. I don't believe him because he's afraid of hands. But after a while, he started to be okay. He started to trust and everything is okay. But sometimes when I want to touch him, he flinches away. Very rare, but it happens. But never happens to Casper.
I do worm training. So you take a tong, you take a worm, and you force them to get on your hand with their name.
They learned the name, I know.
Yeah. So Hydra, after I got him better and got him back on all fours, and like I said, he was jumping around the enclosure, then he got mean. And he would even try to bite me and actually bite me. It's like he went from I'm weak and frail to I'm a big, mean, scary dragon. Leave me alone. And then I would take him out and he would just sit there and like watch me in the sun while he was getting his sun.
This is Lori, same mean guy. Yeah.
And then, like I said, now this is his safety spot. Just sitting on my back of my neck.
But still, I think Percy sometimes remembers something bad. He might be. I don't know. Because here, nobody ever did anything bad to him. He's constantly loved and pampered and being spoiled. He is my sweet baby. But he might be remembering something from the past.
I accidentally stepped on Pitch when she was younger.
Oh.
And so now she's got some lip issues because of it. Because I stepped on her head.
Oh.
But she's fine. But for a week, she was scared of anything over her head. But normally, and even now, she is not scared of anything over her head.
So is Percy. Yeah. Scared of nothing. But once in a while, you want to take him, and he's like, very rare, but sometimes it's happened. So
I got Pitch to look the other day. I went to her enclosure. I got right up to it and went. Because that's what they would do. And eventually she went. She usually doesn't. But this one time I got her where she was like.
Percy does this all the time. He likes this head tilt and laugh.
Oh, calm fancy. He's the biggest one of the group, and he acts like he's second in charge of everything. And yet, if I take him out and he's not in the stroller or a basket, like the actual Walmart basket or something, he starts to overreact and like he just panics. It's like his brain overdoes it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're at the time where my lights are going out. So his brain will overdo it. So I'm going to probably get off here. But yeah, his brain will overdo it at those times. But when you put him in the basket, he's comfortable. He thinks nothing will hurt him. Like just nothing. He's had dogs walk up to him. Not a single care in the world. But yeah, he gets overwhelmed if he's not there. It's so cool and so interesting, and I think it's a bad thing because he shouldn't be that comfortable. Where a dog can walk up and he doesn't care. He wouldn't make it in the wild anymore.
Of course, same with this guy. Not in the wild, not anymore. He just fell asleep. You see, he's not moving. He's deeply, deeply asleep.
After the trauma of all this Florida fish and game bullshit, I have really appreciated this conversation. Just a simple bearded dragon conversation. And I loved it. You're a wonderful person. I think I want to make sure people understand that they should seek you out because you're just easy to work with. And that's saying something for some of the people in this industry. So I really appreciate you coming on here. Thank you so much. Tell your husband I said hi.
Okay. Sure.
Tell him not to let Parsi bully him too much.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
I'll let Calm Fancy know that he shouldn't bully me so much. Hear that, Fancy? Don't bully me so much.
Thank you so much. That was a very interesting conversation. I enjoyed it.
I did too. It was very nice. It was very pleasurable. And it really helped at this time of such stress for a lot of people. I hope this is something that we can take away and we can move the industry forward.
I hope so too.
It was lovely meeting you. You have a good night.
Thank you.
And for the audience, I love you guys. If you've stayed on this long, please like, subscribe, and share. I love you guys.